All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 30 of the Slap the Ask show. We apologize in advance. This is coming back after a 4-week hiatus. Figured we'd start the year off strong with the good old Jimmy and Luke duo. Jimmy, what have you been up to the last 4 weeks?
Luke, the last 4 weeks.
A lot of vacations, right?
Yeah, traveling around. Was in Florida for a little bit. Was dodging COVID. My parents' house, we had like a mini infection.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everyone's fine, obviously, because
Survived.
it's a fine thing now. Omicron's not that strong anyway. Yeah, I mean, we've pretty much just been like settling back, like kind of like taking relaxation from social media a little bit, and trading in general the past few weeks. But now that 2022 is here, it's gonna be the best year yet. And
Hopefully.
today starts the day that I'm actually going to start my diet. I'm going to start going to the gym more, and I'm going to trade more aggressively and be more active on social media. So as of today, we're 10 days behind, but we're starting today.
I guess that's what happens when you go on vacation to Florida. You get a little off track.
Yeah, exactly. Do I still look tan, or is my tan already faded?
No, you do look tan. I can't tell though because the lighting's kind of yellow. So.
Oh yeah, true. I gotta get a new studio room. This one's a little not ideal for what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. Well, I'll be out of this backdrop in 3 weeks. So.
Yeah, Luke, you excited for going to your pin tweets location? Is that still your pin tweet?
No.
You changed it? Oh, whoops.
No.
It
hasn't been the pin tweet.
Okay.
But no, it's exciting. It's a good change of scenery to move in a new house. So.
Yeah, going from the north to the south.
Yep, south side.
South side. Yeah, no, I'm excited for the housewarming party you're going to have there in a few weeks.
Oh, we'll see if you make the invite list, Jimmy.
One could only hope.
So I guess, yeah, I mean, the market's been a lot volatile the last month. A lot of stuff's happened. Where do you want to start? You want to start in the OTC?
I kind of want to start in a more macro perspective and then dive into the specifics. So today, honestly, so this morning the market like absolutely tanked. Right. All the indices were down more than 1%. Nasdaq, I think, was down almost like 2.5% at one point. Same S&P.
The S&P was down like almost 7%.
Not 7 in a day. It was down like 2% today.
Oh, I mean 7 points. Sorry.
Yeah. So
that would not be good.
That'd be like March 2020 again. It's down 7%. Anyway, so market started off really rocky. Jamie Powell had an interview, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, interview on CNBC, and he was basically talking about how this economy is actually super strong, and how he thinks that we could absorb more than 4 rate hikes that the Fed is expected to introduce. And that comment sort of like turned the tide in the market, and things started closing up. Nasdaq even closed green. So yeah, Luke, like you were saying before, volatility is alive and well. So basically, I think what the 2022 picture is looking like right now is the Fed is dialing back a little bit. They're not going to expand the balance sheet much like they did in the last 2 years. And they are planning on raising rates. So you got the house at the right time. But they're raising rates to fight the inflationary pressures that we're facing right now.
So when and how do you think that's going to be implemented?
So they said, or there's an expectation that there will be 4 rate hikes in the year. I think the expectation is each one's 0.25%. So we'll probably end 2022 with a 1% total increase in rates.
Right. Which will probably be good. I mean, it'll definitely be better long term, but I feel like the markets have been so volatile because what are the markets like, right? They like stability. They want to know what's coming because you're trading on the future, basically what you expect it to be. So right now, no one really knows what to expect. So it's a little more volatile, but it's interesting that Jamie Dimon made that comment though. I mean, Do you think there's validity to that, or?
Well, I tweeted out earlier today that I want what he's smoking in
Well,
regard.
yeah, I hope he's right, right?
I mean, I don't think he's gonna be right, but he's also the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, so he clearly has a lot of weight behind him. And when he speaks, people listen. I think that the rates will be fine for the economy, like the actual economy rates will be fine because
Not for the
I think
market,
we kind of need it. The stock market, I don't know how rates are going to be good.
right?
I don't see how the stocks are going to like increase rates. Maybe large caps will continue to thrive. We saw Microsoft rebounded nicely today. They ended up closing green after be down a couple of percentages. Tesla ended up closing green. So these large cap companies, I think, will like having increased rates because they will just collect more of the capital inflows will go towards them. Small caps are going to suffer dramatically, I think, just because they rely on capital markets and borrowing to fund their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So their cost of borrowing and getting money is going to be a bit more expensive. So I see them suffering. But
yeah, which is interesting because I think in the past, like last year and years prior, the small caps and the OTC markets especially tend to do better in the beginning of the new year, January, February, and March. And I think this year we're probably not going to see a similar trend. So, I mean, from what I've been seeing from a lot of the people on Twitter and stock twits and everything, is that this is going to be a big year for like scalping and quick in and out plays. And then it'll also be a good year to hold your long-term investments and add to those positions. So,
yeah, I
as
think
a really macro lens perspective.
Yeah, I think that's pretty. I'd say that's pretty accurate. I think the days of buying a weird Nasdaq small cap company and having 800% gain in a couple months are gone, unfortunately. But that's not to say that it's impossible to make money in this market. You just have to adapt, right? Like that's what one of our former guests, King Blamey, he's the
Just start shorting
chair
everything
now, and he's adapting and he's buying puts and he's making a lot of money off of that. So,
So, I just a question I have just for you personally. What do you think? So, by raising the rates throughout this year, like you said, like 1/4% or whatever, probably quarterly, how do you think that will set us up for next year?
I think how 2023.
You think Powell knows what he's doing to set up for the next presidential election? Think they're trying to tank it now and do better later type thing?
Well, I think it's a situation where inflation's too high right now, right?
So something has to be done.
So yeah, they have to raise rates. They have to. No other choice.
So you don't think that their strategy is that far planned out?
I think it is planned out, but I don't think it's like malicious, if that makes sense. I don't think they're planning on things like I don't think they're intentionally trying to tank the stock market or anything like that.
Right.
I think they're trying to fight inflation because that's the initial problem, and then the chips will fall as they may after that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think the economy can only grow, right? Like we're not going to shut down again. If we do, then I'll go out and get my pitchfork and start riding. Like we can only grow, it can only expand at this point. You know what I mean? Like it can't get worse, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like for everything to get shut down again, it's just not going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the fear mongering is kind of getting a little bit out of control, but I think most people are calm. Most people aren't too concerned.
Yep, I agree. Now, Luke, here's a question for you. So
we're just interviewing each other now.
Yeah, I guess, right. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this. Okay. So all of 2021, all we heard was Bitcoin hedge against inflation, right? Everyone screamed that from the mountaintops.
Oh, now Bitcoin's down?
Yeah, now Bitcoin's $40,000 a coin when it was, $68,000 a coin a couple months ago. So what do you think is going to happen with the crypto markets and Bitcoin in general?
Well, you know what I think it shows about Bitcoin?
What?
Is that the price of Bitcoin, like we've had many times, the price of Bitcoin is determined on how much someone is willing to pay for it, right? And right now, Bitcoin and collectibles, cars, anything is so unaffordable for like the average middle class worker that there's no volume being traded in like anything other than the top like 2%, right? So
Right.
I think Bitcoin is like an even more extreme example. Like Bitcoin, like we've had this conversation before, but it's like 90% of Bitcoin is owned by 1% of holders.
Yeah.
So to assume that price is going to go up just because inflation is also going to be going up makes it sounds like it's a logical argument, but it's just not proven to be true.
Yeah, I think you
It's
kind of
one of those things. It's like I really don't know, but I think it's because the everyday person isn't actually controlling the price, and people aren't rational. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think it should be going up, but I think also like the stable coin market, that whole thing is like people are starting to see that as the future. People are starting to invest in a lot of. I don't know. I feel like there's NFTs. It was like when crypto was really running. It was because this new investment opportunity to make a lot of money very quickly. Now people don't see it as that way. Like if you want to make a lot of money really quickly, are you buying Bitcoin?
Not Bitcoin, no.
No, exactly.
You buy one of
So I think that's what most people think right now, and that's why it's not going up.
Yeah, and I think you kind of touched on it, but the idea that it's a hedge against inflation is still like in its theoretical stages. It's
Right.
only 13 years old, Bitcoin, which is
Yeah.
crazy to think about.
I mean, gold you can look at historically, and like every year on average, when inflation is ridiculous, gold goes up. You know what I mean? There's no historical data that you can show that Bitcoin is actually going to perform well under inflation. I think everyone thought it would, but who knows? That said, I think a lot of crypto is going to be fine long term, or at least for the next 5 years.
Mhm.
Um, but I think we were talking about it before with our last guest that NFTs are. I think NFTs are starting to reach where Bitcoin was like a year ago. Like I think it's starting to reach its peak.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I told you this already, but at this other company I worked at,
Oh,
uh,
tell this story. People find this interesting.
yeah, so this company I worked at a couple years ago, I think it was like 2019. We were a laundry pickup and delivery service, and the two founders of the company um, in the last year transitioned to NFTs. And these guys, they've always, I thought, been like on the cutting edge of like trends, maybe too early in some cases, but they timed NFTs right. So they got involved with this Italian artist out in Italy and some dude in LA. And they were living in Italy for a little bit, just minting and making these NFTs. They ended up selling one to Justin Bieber. It's like a bunch of teddy bears. The NFT community is called the In-Betweeners, and they sold it for like 4.5 million. And they just keep on selling them. I think they made like close to like 11 million now selling NFTs. So
Between what, like five
that's
guys?
crazy.
I say it's always crazy when you hear those stories, when you actually know someone who's went through that. It makes you always think, why not me? And then you go
Yeah,
out and spend all your money on NFTs, then you lose all of your money. So
yeah.
it's like,
No, yeah, exactly. It's like it's so
but
fun.
honestly, good for them. That's awesome.
Totally. But if anything, I think it just shows. I think you and I, Luke, I talked about this before privately offline, but I think the NFTs right now, it's pretty much like the dot-com bubble in 90s and the early 2000s, where everyone is throwing money at all the NFT communities.
And
Some will
hoping one
survive and
hits.
thrive, and then some will crash and burn. But right now,
Mhm.
they're all inflated. It's a bubble. It's a big bubble. But I think there is value in NFTs. I 100% believe that. I think that
Oh
will be
yeah.
around in 10 years from now. Just which
I
ones?
mean,
Who knows?
yeah, I mean, we talked about it the last show, but I think NFTs are like they're such a great way for artists to make a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
for like and make it mainstream, you know? Like some artists can doodle a what is it, a teddy bear he made or whatever it was?
Yeah, it's like a teddy
Like
bear.
some sort of like abstract teddy bear and sell it for $4.5 million, and then on every single sale after that make a piece of it because it's backed by blockchain. Like, I think that's great. But I think it's overvalued right now, 100%. Absolutely.
And I think when do the applications go beyond just art? When
Well,
is
yeah,
the
contracts and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
like the deed of your house is going to be NFT, your driver's license is going to be NFT instead of just
Mhm.
having the card. I think that's coming in the not so distant future.
Yeah, we had a bunch of people comment on our YouTube thumbnails that our good friend Michael Benz makes, and they were saying they thought they were NFTs, and we were like, maybe we should be selling these as NFTs.
Yeah,
So that's something we got to figure out
no, we definitely should be selling them as NFTs.
because they're limited, only one per week or one every 4 weeks, depending on our schedule.
Yeah, Mike does a hell of a job with this art.
Mike did a great job.
Hey, the more the merrier.
So, anyways,
NFT community.
NFTs are kind of reaching a peak, but they're not going anywhere. Bitcoin's supposed to be a hedge against inflation, to be determined based on this year.
Yes.
We'll see once the Fed keeps hiking interest rates. One other thing that I've been listening to a lot lately, and I think is fascinating. We can talk about this unless you have something else you want to talk about. But the whole metaverse thing.
Oh yeah.
I've been watching more videos on the metaverse, and it's actually becoming really fascinating. Did you see that yacht or whatever that they created, like this digital yacht in the metaverse? Guess how much the boat, this yacht, cost to make?
In real life?
Digital, how much it costs, just the developers and everyone to put together. In the metaverse. I can't remember which metaverse it was, but it was one of them.
Okay, to make it in the metaverse, I guess you only pay, I would guess like $1,000.
$400,000, Jimmy.
Wow.
To make it. And guess what it sold for?
It was something insane. It was like 50 million or
No, it wasn't that insane.
but
it was well over $1 million.
Yeah, like in the millions.
So these people, this team of people spent $400,000 making this digital boat in this fictional metaverse and sold it for over $1 million to someone. I just can't wrap my brain around that.
Who the hell's buying this shit?
But it's kind of like what you were saying is all these people are throwing darts at a dartboard of this metaverse world and all these different metaverses with lots of money, hoping that one of them is going to hit. And a lot of them are probably going to make money because they're early. Yeah. It's kind of like the NFT thing. A lot of people are going to lose money, but a lot of people are going to make money.
Well, yes, the metaverse will be powered by things like blockchain and like NFTs and things like that. But it's funny. I feel like we've had like metaverses already. Like if you played any like RPG video game, like that's basically the metaverse.
RuneScape,
like Skyrim.
Skyrim.
The idea though is like as technology progresses, the metaverse will be more and more like real life. Like,
well, then people will be literally living another life in the metaverse. And I saw an argument that actual physical real estate in the real world will be devalued because people won't need actual real estate because they're going to be living their lives digitally.
Well, yeah, it's like the fucking
watch this video in 30 years and be like,
I know, see what's actually happening. But it's gonna be like the Matrix, where in reality,
yes, exactly.
You're just in a pod, but like in the pod, you access the digital world.
Right. It's like, do you want to take the red pill and be actually faced with reality and all the harshness and the struggles, or do you want to just be a blue pill guy and just live this digital world and do whatever you want? Be like Grand Theft Auto in real life.
I know, seriously. Yeah, no, the metaverse is interesting. It's
and Mark Zuckerberg wants this to happen. Shows he's even more crazy than I thought, but whatever.
Dude changed the company's name to Meta. Like he's in it. He is all about this shit.
Yeah. So I guess it'd be good to try to find companies to invest in that are creating these metaverses, like maybe Meta and stuff. But it's like you said, you're trying to pick winners out of hundreds.
Yeah, well, I guess the companies that you're investing in is like the NFT projects, right? That's the metaverse.
Right.
That's how you get exposure to it. Metaverse is cool. Let's transition to OTC just a little bit. I just had a couple of comments. So one, I think the OTC actually could see some bullish runs in the future because I was reading this post. I forget who posted. It might have been Scalp It or Sean 007. But they're basically talking about how like back in September of 2021, we thought, all right, that's when the SEC is going to delist all these bullshit companies. Money's going to flood to the OTC. It's going to make everything run. That didn't really necessarily happen. But that's not to say it won't happen eventually. So basically,
it will happen, just a matter of when.
Exactly. So the thesis is like in 2022, people are going to realize, wow, the small caps in the NASDAQ are really unattractive right now because they are, getting decimated with the high interest rate environment. Let me transition to these OTC stocks that are literally beaten down 80, 90%. And the idea is those OTC stocks that are, compliant with the new standards of the SEC will receive capital inflows and actually benefit. And I can see the logic behind that. I mean, we look at VNU right now. VNU's been having a pretty good run the past couple of weeks, back over a penny. That's Silly, Sully, Bill, a lot of our friends' favorite stock. Eager Beaver is big on VNU now.
Well, I think she got in because of us.
If we
I
had
traded VNU a couple times. I'm in it now for a small position at like 009 or whatever. But you traded VNU too at some point.
Oh
sure.
yeah, oh totally. I
just hope it runs to 2 cents again, double my money, sell half, and let it ride. See what happens. But I don't know if it's going to. I mean, I just don't think there's a lot of money going into the OTC, which is what I think the issue is. I mean, how much are people buying the OTC right now? Do you even know?
Yeah, I don't know what the dollar volume is right now.
Daily volume?
What's the dollar volume? Do you see?
Well, 1.5 was 2.5 billion. So, I mean, it's not been that great, honestly. I mean, it was 1.7 beginning of January 3rd.
What was it like in November, December?
Let's see what it was.
I wonder what, I mean, there's definitely a lot of volume today in the big boards just because of how dramatic the moves were.
I think November was pretty low too.
While you're looking for that, did you see the CEO of Binance's net worth was released?
2.9. I mean, it was about the same, I guess. But
okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess hopefully the money hasn't really flowed in yet, but hopefully it flows in at some point this year with the Federal Reserve rate hikes.
Yeah.
Another thing.
I just don't think it's like the cool thing right now. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. It's not the cool thing right now. But buy when there's no noise, sell when the noise comes, right?
Right. Exercise some patience.
Yeah. One other thing also that like market experts are saying is in a world where the rates are getting increased, you should buy bank stocks because they make more money when the rates are high because they make more money on loans and things like that.
That's actually a good idea.
It's a little
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, you can charge more for your mortgage now instead of,
yeah,
when there is no rate. So,
but then the idea is that the volume is less, but yeah, but I don't think it'll really affect it that much. The thing about the housing market that I've started to realize is that if there's like a family of 5 and they're in a position where they're working, they saved up their down payment, they just had a kid, like they're going to buy a house regardless of the market, right? They might buy it at a bad time, they might buy it at a good time. But it's the real estate investors that are actually trying to time the market. And how many real estate investors do you know actually try to time the market, or they just try to find good deals?
Yeah, I think they just try to find good deals.
So yeah, it might affect the macro, but I think the micro is still pretty consistent. So, but yeah, I mean, it probably is not a bad bet to do that.
So. Okay, yeah, interesting.
I was just playing devil's advocate, but
yeah, no, I mean, I think you make a good point, but I would still say bank stocks are probably better to perform than tech stocks. How about that? Unprofitable tech companies, bad with high rates. Bank stocks that are loaning out money to profitable businesses with higher rates will make more money, theoretically. I think we pretty much covered all the topics I wanted to talk about. I think we could wrap it up, but I kind of wanted to ask what you're looking forward to this year in your personal financial life.
And well, before I get to the personal financial life, I wanted to make a comment. For 2022, I think the Eagles are going to beat Tampa Bay in the first round of the wild card playoffs. Wow. And then they're going to actually beat Dallas in the NFC Championship game. But that can't even happen, can it? Because they'll be on different sides.
Well, it will happen in the NFC Championship game, yeah.
What is your prediction? You think Dallas wins this year?
Yeah, honestly, I do. I think they're really good.
They crushed the Eagles.
Twice.
But again, Dallas is the king of losing in the first round of the playoffs.
I know. We just got to get through the first round. If we beat the 49ers, I'll be very very happy, and then I think they'll make a run. Their defense is really good. Their offense is really good. I don't know. I feel like the stars are aligning for the Cowboys to like win it all.
I think Dallas looks good. I
I don't think you can like deny it. Like Bill, our friend, loves to tell me Dallas sucks.
I think the Eagles have a chance to beat Tom Brady, though. Tom Brady doesn't like the Eagles.
No, he does not. He does not like the Eagles. And I think the Eagles are like, they played much better than they should have this year. I think they
I don't know how they made the playoffs, but
they're a playoff team. I remember
they did.
First half of the season, they were like losing all the games. They were like 3-6 at one point. Like, wow,
it was bad.
They went on that run now.
So what was your question? Financial goals for the year? Financial overlook?
Yeah, let's say like financial goals, or like, and we talk about goals for like the show. But yeah, let's say what do you hope to accomplish financially in 2022?
So 2022, so my first goal is to successfully Airbnb out the house that I'm leaving, and then move into the new house, and then max your Roth IRA. You got to max that as a safety net. I think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then one thing, as you said, I want to start being more active in trading again, whether it's large caps, small caps, OTC, whatever. And just be consistent. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
Don't start spending money on stupid things, and just keep the straight and narrow, and then hopefully get another property within the next year or so.
Yeah, I think those are all great goals. I think for me, my big goal,
I don't know if I want to go too personal, so that's the general overview.
Trying to have a wife and 2 kids by the time the year is over. So I need 2 wives for that. It's a joke.
Timmy's moving to Abu Dhabi, apparently.
Hey, I would move to Abu Dhabi with that in a heartbeat. My main goal is to actually generate genuine passive cash flow.
Okay.
From something. As in, no labor involved, really.
So is that from your investments? Because I know you have a lot of investments.
Well, yeah, it could be like from the stock market. They don't pay me cash flow; they just go up in value.
Well, they will pay you if you sell them. But you mean like dividend?
I want like a dividend paying something.
Or, do you want to get like a rental or like a dividend paying stock?
A rental, or stake crypto and get stablecoin payments, like get actual cash flow without.
So you would be willing to sell your stock to purchase?
I mean, it depends on the prices. If the price is right.
Okay.
That's big, but I will use my labor income to get one of those.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I won't necessarily have to sell stock, but that's my goal for 2022.
Yeah, it's a good goal.
And then for the show, I think I want to continue like interviewing these great people on Twitter and in other walks of life. I felt like I've learned so much from talking to all these different people and like getting a new perspective. Mm-hmm. I want to continue doing that, but I also kind of want to transition the show and like my personal Twitter account into more of like a like entertainment / informative like content machine, if that makes sense.
So just more consistency.
Yeah, more consistency, and like give the people what the people want. Because right now they want NFTs, they want crypto shit.
I mean, I've noticed that all about the big accounts is they always tweet or they talk about what's hot, right?
Yeah.
But we kind of just stick to our straight and narrow and talk about what we're interested in. But I feel like our interests have diversified a lot as well. I think we are getting interested in NFTs and all this other kind of stuff. So I think it'll be cool to have, to your point with Slap the Ass Show, to kind of not be only OTC, but venture out into what other people want to see as well. Whether that be NFT, crypto, real estate, get more OTC CEOs on the podcast. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to just branch out a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right about that. Because I think when we first started the show, the whole point was like, OTC is a very specific niche.
And it was hot when we started.
It was hot. Yeah, it was like a perfect time, perfect wave. But there's so many ways to make money. And there's so many things that I think people have a passion for. And like just hearing people talk about what they're interested in makes me more interested in it.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, I think having guests on that can give different perspectives will not only help us, but it'll help, the 20 people that watch this.
Yeah. Hopefully get up to 25.
25 is the goal for 2022. So, yeah, I'm just kidding.
All right.
Well, I think that was a great episode, Jimmy. Always great seeing you. Hope you have a good time in New York tomorrow.
Thank you,
And,
Luke. Do yourself
hopefully
too.
your new mayor keeps making good decisions.
Bro, thank you. And we will have a lot of great guests coming throughout this year.
Yeah, I think we have an NFT guest coming up next week, so stay tuned for that one.
Yep. And beyond that, good luck to everyone this year. That we all live long and prosper and make some bread.
Keep slapping ass.
We do like to do that, don't we, Luke? All right, guys. Have a good one.
Okay.